Hello everyone and welcome to the new Volvo XC90 Plug-in Hybrid, which takes Scandinavian luxury and adds some serious electric range, making family driving smarter, greener and still premium. But is the new XC90 Plug-in Hybrid the ultimate family SUV? Well, that's what we are going to be finding out today. So this new Volvo XC90 Plug-in Hybrid is offered in three different trims: Core, Plus and Ultra, and the particular variant that I'm reviewing is the Ultra variant of the XC90 plug-in hybrid, which is the top of the line. And in terms of the design changes, there are quite a bit that ways, because the front end now looks slightly different than the previous generation, with these headlights that are more sleeker, and also this grille. So in the previous generation there used to be vertical slots, but out here now there are these angular ones. So let's begin from the front. You have these chrome glossy black grille out here with the Volvo badging. Really makes this car appear very elegant. Even at the bottom there's glossy plastic, no normal plastic anywhere. Another chrome strip going on from one end to the other. This plastic insert out here with the chrome strip out there too, and then these headlights. So the headlights on the inside, there are these still DRLs, which is the hammer head shaped DRLs on the inside, and these DRLs are the LED DRLs, and the same DRLs also convert into the turn signals. And there are also the active high beam headlights. So basically the headlights also kind of slightly adjust according to the traffic, and there are also cornering lights built in on the inside, so when you are turning it actually illuminates on the side. And underneath this hood sits a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with an electric motor that is sitting in the back. I'm going to come to that too. And the combined output from this system is 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. And there is also a camera for the active and the passive safety systems, as well as the adaptive cruise control that's been provided. Then we move on to the side. You have these 21-inch dual tone alloy wheels, and as a part of the upgraded package or optional extra, there are also active air suspensions, and which is why, if you notice, the car is sitting slightly on the lower side, and that is to assist, and that can be switched on and off. So if you don't want the car to sit down every time you switch it off, so that it's just easier to get out from the car or get in for the passengers as well as you, then yeah, that option can be switched on and off. But that's the use of the air suspensions, as well as gives a very comfortable ride experience also. And it comes with the all-wheel drive. And in the front you would notice this door, which is for the charging, because it comes with 18.8 kilowatt hour battery pack, and the usable one is 14.7 kilowatt hour, and it's got the type 2 charger, which is the AC charger, and the battery pack sits in the back, as well as the electric motor that sits on the rear axle. And as a result, it reduces the complications of having a drive shaft and powering the car, and that's how it is able to achieve the all-wheel drive. And in terms of the charging, so if you connect this XC90 to a 16 ampere single phase AC power supply, then it charges in 5 hours, at 10 amperes 7 hours, and at 6 amperes it's going to take 12 hours. And there is also a portable charger that's been provided. I'm going to take you inside and show you. Once we go into the back, at the bottom there is like body colored skirting with the chrome strip on the side. When we come to these side mirrors, these are power foldable body colored side mirrors. They are power adjustable. They also have the blind spot warning on the inside, as well as a turn signal on the edge. There's also a chrome surround around these windows, the chrome roof rails, and also the panoramic sunroof. And then the front and the rear doors are the keyless entry doors. And then once we open, on the inside there is Volvo badging on the door sills, which is like an illuminated one. So the borders illuminate, not the badge itself. Volvo doesn't illuminate the writing on it. And once we move into the rear, so You have the same design continued from the previous generation, but I like the look of this design. It looks again pretty elegant and pretty Scandinavian, because now we know Volvo designs are like that, so very easy to recognize them on the road. So in the rear you have these full set of LED tail lights, turn signals, reverse lights, brake lights, everything is completely in LED, and the Volvo badging, XC90 badging, and the T8 plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive badge in the rear. Again, a very simple bumper design and big thick chrome strip continuing from one end to the other. In terms of the visibility, so the when the third row is folded up and there are passengers, then it's going to hinder the visibility, because there are like big headrests and everything. But if you fold down the third row of seats and just second row, as well as there is an option to fold down the headrest of the second row, and then the visibility is actually pretty good, because as you can see there is like a wide and a big glass in the back, and as a result of that you get good visibility in the rear. Now let's open the trunk, and there are metal scuff plates in the back to protect your bumper, as well as additional scuff plates on the bumper itself. And when the third row of seats are folded up, you can put 10.5 cubic feet of luggage in the rear, which is decent for a 7-seater family SUV, because you can still put a lot of stuff in here. There is no step or anything. There is also this trunk separator which can be put when the third row of seats are folded down, and otherwise it will just be consuming the space, as well as this carpet. When the third row of seats are folded, then you can put that there too. And there are also trunk lights out here, as well as tying hooks, and on the other side also the same thing, and a 12-volt power socket. And if you notice, there are buttons provided out here. So these are the buttons to increase the height or decrease the height of the car. Right now it's going down, or I can take it up. So when you have a lot of shopping bags and you want to reduce the height of the car, you can do that too. So that it's just more easier to load the luggage into the trunk of this XC90. Now underneath the trunk floor, as I mentioned, let me just take this bag away, and there is the portable charger that's been provided. And if you lift this storage, and underneath that there is a tire repair kit. And let's fold down the third row of seat and check them out once they are folded. It's very simple. There are these levers provided. Pull them and hold them down. Very easy to use for sure. Very easily folds down. Then when the third row of seats are folded down, you can put 34.5 cubic feet of luggage into the rear space, and it's pretty even and flat. And as I mentioned, this is the carpet that fits in here once you fold down these seats, so that they don't get dirty. And then this trunk separator also can be put out here, and the best thing is that this is one of the easiest trunk separators that I've found, because it's very easy to take it off and put it back in. Now the second row of seats are foldable in a ratio of 40:20:40, and in order to fold them you have to go in the front and then do it, because there is this lever on the sides. You pull that and fold down, and the second seat in the middle, that can be folded by pulling this, and so goes for the other side. So when the second row of seat is folded, you can put 85.7 cubic feet of luggage, and again it's pretty flat floor, so everything aligns very well. So it's going to be very easier to slide your luggage in and out of this XC90. So the battery pack sits underneath here, as well as the motor that is sitting on the rear axle itself. And let me take the carpet back so that I can put up the third row of seats, so I can show you what's on the inside. And for the ease of use, there is also the feature where you can swipe the leg under the bumper and open the trunk door, as well as it's been depicted out here too, where the sensor location is and how to use that. And let's just close this and jump into the best bit, which is the interior. Gosh, really love the interiors on the Volvos. Look at that, cardamom Napa leather seats, and then some real wood, some really nice fit and finish out here. So let's begin with the door cards. You have a mixture of leather and wood out here. On the top face, soft touch material. On the side, this wood, this again soft material, leather covered, and then the bottom, this plastic, again pretty good use of plastic. And then the Bowers and Wilkins surround sound system, which is again an optional extra provided on this XC90. So more chrome strips out here, but yes, really looks nice. And then we go inside and check out the interior. Look at that. So soft touch material on the top face throughout. Out here, this fabric material that's been given on the side face, and then this real wood, and then more chrome strips flowing from one end to the other, as well as on this side also. And look at the merging out here, very seamlessly done in terms of the interior. Very elegant look. And there are also ambient lights given out there in the door cards, out here on the dashboard, as well as inside the footwell, and those can be customized from inside. So you cannot change. I'm going to let it finish because I just switched on the car, so it's asking me to put on the seat belt. So you can go inside the settings from here and then change the brightness of the lights. That's about it. You can't do much apart from that. So low, off, and the brightness, that's about it. That's what you can do in terms of how you can change anything on that ambient lights. Now there is also this 11.2 inch infotainment screen, as well as 12.3 inch driver's display. Out here there's this crystal gear shifter, again synonymous with the Volvos. And on the side face, this leather covered material, and then these seats, they're more on the sporty side, but more on that once I come to that. And even on this pillar, there is this very nice suede material throughout, even on the roof, that's been provided. There's also this SOS emergency button on the roof. Now let's begin with the driver's display. So out here there is a 12.3 inch digital driver's display, and in terms of the appearance, it's pretty much the same. Like, you can't change much, or the information that you see, that can be changed slightly in the middle. So this current view is called as the calm view because there is no information in the middle. And in order to change that information or see anything, because there's only one different look, so something that will show in the middle, which is the Google Maps, and the button is provided on the right side of the steering wheel. You press that and you see the Google Maps on your screen. So while navigating, it's just easier to see on the driver's display itself, or you just switch it off. And you can see the trip information by pressing this button, and then you see the trip auto and the trip manual. Manual is one that you set, but that's about it. And at the bottom it shows you the range, the fuel, and the different details related to the trip, like the economy and stuff. But that's about it. Very easy. And yeah, I like this setup because yeah, you don't have to learn a lot of things on how to just use the driver's display, and not much to fiddle also. Now when we come to this steering, so this is a leather covered Napa leather steering with the Volvo badging in the middle, and again plastic, but good quality plastic, and glossy buttons on either side, as well as more glossy plastics out here also, maybe prone to like scratches if you clean them. And if it's very dusty, make sure like you remove that dust very gently, otherwise yeah, these might have a lot of scratches on them. So on the right side, there are buttons provided for the media controls, as well as the buttons for the driver's display. And on the left side, there are buttons provided for the adaptive cruise control, as well as the option to switch to the hands-free driving. So even that's also possible. And this steering wheel is manually adjustable, which is the tilt and telescopic, very smooth to operate that one too. And there are no paddle shifters or anything, although there is an option to change the regen system that's been given on this, because obviously it's a plug-in hybrid, so yeah, while braking the energy can be put back into the battery, and all that settings can be changed from here, as well as using this crystal gear shifter. So if you put this car into, let's say, the drive, let me show you first. Let me put it in the park. You go into the driving, which is normal, but the B is basically where it would put it into the battery while braking. So it nearly becomes a one pedal drive, very easy that way. And if you master that, you can really just drive this car with just using the single pedal. If you can just do the predictive driving, how it functions, then yes, very easy to use that too. And there is this start stop twisty button that's been given here, and a very simple and clean look out here. Now when we come to the air conditioning controls, so the air conditioning controls are sitting at the bottom of this 11.2-inch infotainment screen, and there is like 4-zone air conditioning system, 2 for the driver and the passenger in the front, and for the second row again on both the sides there is the temperature control, and the control is out here. Once you go into the second row, I'm going to show you that. So in order to operate, you press the button in the center, and then you can change from manual, auto or climate off, and then change the flow of air where you want it to be. And then you can even change the rear air conditioning from here, so you can switch on the heating as well as the temperature for the rear left and the rear right. And for the front, again same temperature controls on either side. Once you press it, you can individually change the temperature on either side, as well as the heated steering option that's been provided, and the cooled and the heated seat option that's been provided here too. So you can easily switch it on into 3 different modes, and the steering also the same, and you can sync the temperature also with the passenger if you want that too. And the next option is the air quality, so you can see how is the air quality. So yeah, while using the app you can access the location, and it shows you what's the outside air quality, which is moderate. Inside the car it's good. And the air quality and pollen, so detail, particular matter 2.5, 10, NO2, O3, everything is shown here. Then the timer, so you can switch on the parking, climate, air purifications and all that stuff from here, so automatically the car will switch on and off. And it also comes with its own data package, so everything can be controlled using the Volvo app too. Now when we come to the heads up display, there is like this heads up display that's been provided, and it shows you information like the speed limits, the speed itself, and also the cruise control information. And the changes can be done to that heads up display from here. Again, you go into the settings and then the controls, and then I hope I'm right, it's here. Yeah, I think it's from here, heads up display, switch it on or off, and then you can even adjust the position, brightness and the rotation, but you cannot select what is visible on that heads up display. So when you come to this infotainment screen, so this is a 11.2-inch infotainment screen, but most of like the strip at the bottom is consumed by this air conditioning control, as well as this vehicle setting option and the detail settings options that sits out here, the menu option. And it functions on Google's Android operating system, which is why you see the Google Maps that's been provided. And I'm not complaining, because it's just very easy to learn this system since you know already the Android system. But if you're from Apple, but yeah, it's still gonna be quite easier. So straightforward maps on the screen itself. So as I mentioned, there is also the data package provided, so it's going to be easy to just use these maps itself, and then yeah, search your route or even find the chargers and gas stations and everything here. And at the bottom of that sits these widgets that are the most used ones out here, and you can minimize that and you can use the full screen also almost, but at the bottom these menu options are the fixed ones, and this is the options where it will show you what you've been using, the latest ones, and it keeps changing also. And then radio, Sirius XM, Google Assistant, and also the camera as well as the drive mode buttons. So the cameras are the 360-degree cameras. You can easily see the front view, the side view, and you can select which side of the view you want to see. 360 car, but you cannot interact or anything. And then the rear view, and then we come out of that, and at the bottom there are the detailed menu options for media controls. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect this infotainment system using Bluetooth, USB, and there is wireless Apple CarPlay, because there is no need of Android Auto since this system itself is powered by Android operating system. Radio, phone, Google Assistant, Google Maps inbuilt, Sirius XM, messages, YouTube. So if you are going to be charging this car and sitting somewhere, it only works while you are parked somewhere, and then only it will work. And then on the move you can watch some review videos if you want to. Then there is this button that you have to press out here. So instead of a round button, there is this just bar, so you press that and come into the main screen, and then Apple CarPlay, then the detailed settings. Inside there is the driving option, so the pilot assist, which is for the cruise control, and then the different driving modes. Now the driving modes can be accessed from here also, or from inside the settings option that you saw. So the different driving modes are hybrid, power, pure, off-road, and all-wheel drive, and you can choose to start in pure mode, which is the EV mode, and then the battery usage can be kept in auto, hold, or charge. Now the thing is, because it's a plug-in hybrid and it gives you a range of 57 kilometers, which is pretty good, and if you don't charge the batteries, then the car itself can also charge the batteries too, and while on the move also it would keep charging it, and you can even hold the batteries too. Then there is the creep mode and the steering feel, so soft and firm. So there are two settings here, but these options are like quite on the inside, like still one layer inside, so you have to switch it on and off. And then this air suspension control for easy entry and exit, which is what I was mentioning. So the suspensions would lower or increase the height too. Then the other options are on the inside. Once we go, the safety assistance, and then you can view all, and then the controls for the car modes, lights and display, locking, mirrors, wipers, headrest, which can be folded from here, which is electronically. So you press this, and let me show you. Once I press these, you see that it folds down the headrest. So if the other seats were also up, it would fold down those headrest too. Then the wireless charger, then the sound settings, and as I mentioned, you have the Bauer and Wilkins surround sound system. You can select concert hall, jazz club. It sounds incredible, really good on the inside. And the connectivity options, then the profile, privacy system, then the Google options, and then we go back. Then the next option is car status, shows you the status about this car, oil, and all of that. And the only thing is that I cannot go back into the same menu option, which is why I have to keep pressing this option, and then again I have to go into the option, and then the driving journal, user manual, and the apps that you can download to this, because Android operating system, so you can use the Play Store too. Then we come back, and then on the top you can see the notifications from here, and the driver profile that can be created from here, or you can add or remove them too. So that's how you operate the infotainment screen. And on the corner at the bottom right also sits this vehicle option for quick controls for lane keep assist, and also the creep option, as well as the headrest fold option that also is on the move quickly, and then the detail settings that you can access from here too. And there are also controls and dial provided here for the infotainment screen to control the basically volume dial and also the buttons. Now in terms of the charging, so there are two Type-C USB ports inside this handrest for connectivity and charging, as well as a 12-volt power socket, a wireless charger out here, and for the rear passengers there are two more Type-C USB ports provided. Now, in terms of the storage, in the door carts you can easily put 1.5 liter worth of bottle. There are also these two flexible cup holders, this wireless charger, this handrest in which you can put your phones and wallets, and then this glove box which can be opened using this button, which I don't understand why unnecessary complications, but yes, it's electronically openable but not foldable. And in the rear door carts you can put just like 1 liter or maybe half a liter worth of bottle, that's about it. And then there are two more cup holders, again pretty shallow ones, provided in the center armrest. And in terms of the panoramic sunroof, there is this touch button provided, so you have to press that or basically slide your fingers and then open this huge panoramic sunroof. Really nice, makes it super airy and makes it appear very big on the inside. And then these sun visors are also extendable. Now also these cup holders, they can be closed too, and they also have this wooden material on the top side. Now when we come to these seats, so these are the cardamom Napa leather seats. They are perforated seats because they are the heated and the cooled seats. There is also a Swedish flag out here on the passenger side seat, and these seats I found them to be slightly on the firmer side. The seats have a lot on the inside because they are the massage seats and they adjust in so many different ways. And to adjust these seats, let me come out and show you. You can do that from here, all this panel that you see. So the driver seat and the backrest that can be adjusted, and then this dial to adjust basically the bottom, this side and the lumbar, as well as to switch on the massage seat option. And then you basically twist this dial to access the information then on the infotainment screen. But first let me finish explaining you the seats. So there are these headrests, slim ones, but yeah, they are again on the firmer side and they are more on the sporty side, and you can make out like there is this good amount of side support, and also at the bottom there is this side support, and then this bit that can be extended too. Again, from the infotainment screen you can see all that information. And yeah, in terms of the comfort, yes, they will provide you the comfort, but long term I still found them to be firmer, and then yeah, might lead you to become slightly more tired sometimes. And then the seats, as I mentioned, can be adjusted in so many different ways. So 8-way electronically adjustable, 4-way lumbar adjustment, as well as the passenger side seat, and then the massage seat options. Again, with the dial itself you can switch it on and off using those buttons, and then you can switch it on, and then there are 5 different modes of massage. Are really nice. And then intensity, speed, and the massaging action, I found it to be so strong and I like it. Like in most of the cars I've had that massage feature, it's very subtle, but on this you can feel it. And then you can even change and go to the next menu option, so you can see what all things that you can change, and then yeah, the extension that you can do. So all that can be changed from here. As well as for passenger side seat, let me show you if it is, yeah, you see the passenger side seat also can be adjusted too. So all those similar options are provided for the passenger also. Now let's jump into the second row of seats. So in the rear, the same cardamom leather seats. They are not perforated seats, but they are the heated seats on either side. And in terms of the arrangement of these seats, the bottom rest is more like a bench type of setup. So yeah, you sit like quite low into these seats, and also the angle that the legs make, they miss the under thigh support sometimes. But in terms of the knee room, there is almost 4 to 5 fingers worth of knee room, and the headroom again is pretty plenty, about 4 fingers worth of that. There are also 3 headrests. And in terms of the support, yes, these seats provide good amount of support, but just that they miss the bottom side support. You can even slide your legs under the seats because there's ample of space to stretch your legs to. But not just that, the second row seats are also slidable, so you can even take them further if there are passengers in the third row of seats, and if there are no passengers, then you can extend them till the back and then utilize that fully. As well as I think they can be pushed back a little bit. Yeah, they can be pushed back, and you can see like they can be reclined slightly more. But the only thing that I've noticed is that you have to individually fold the seats. Like the middle seat out here, you have to pull this strap and then you can fold that seat, which is a bit inconvenient. If there was a lever out here to just fold it, it could be very easy. There is also a small tunnel out here, and in terms of the middle passenger, the comfort levels on the seats again are very similar. They are quite firm, and you still get good amount of comfort here also in the second row of seat. But yeah, the middle passenger, the bottom rest is all right, and the backrest is slightly on the firmer side because, as I mentioned, there are these two cup holders that needs to be opened, and it's quite shallow if you notice. So yeah, make sure you don't spill the drinks if you put it inside, and then you fold that, and then you can utilize this entire handrest, which is again pretty slim and sits at a level also. And in terms of the middle seat, so there is a booster seat option that's given, so you have to just lift this and lock it in place, so you don't have to carry your own booster seat. So it's very handy. In other cars before that I've driven from Volvo, there used to be seats out here also that could do that, but on this it's just the middle seat. There are also these net storage, pocket storages in the back side of the front driver and the passenger side seat. And in terms of the door cards, again the same soft touch materials are provided. On the side face, this wood inserts, and then the leather covered handrest, and then the switches plastic everywhere else. Bowers and Wilkins, very nice material, and at the bottom normal plastic but good amount of plastic. And there's also this sun blinder that's been given, so you can put that if there are kids going to be sleeping in the car in the rear, or if you're bothered by the sun. And in terms of the air conditioning, as I mentioned, there is 4-zone air conditioning, and in order to switch it on here, and then you can control the temperature, the fan speed, as well as the temperature on either side, and then the heated seat options provided on either side. 2 vents out here, as well as vents that are provided on the edge, on the pillars also. So yeah, overall it's a very spacious second row of seat, but it also comes with the third row. And in order to get into the third row, you pull this and slide the seats forward, and it's easier to get in and out of this one because there's good amount of space for that. And the third row of seats, to be honest, compared to the second row, I found the third row of seats to be slightly more comfortable because there is like a slight angle, and they are not bench type of seats. So yeah, they have a bit of an angle, so they give you slight amount of extra comfort underneath the thigh and extra bit of support also. And they are the same cardamom Napa leather seats, 2 headrests, only 2 people can sit in the rear. And in terms of the knee room, there is almost like half finger worth of that when the seats are like this, but if you move them forward, the second row, then there is extra bit of space. The headroom, again, that's decent, although yeah, someone about 6 feet will start brushing their heads against the ceiling. But for once, I really like the third row of seats on a mid-size SUV because it's actually usable and it's also comfortable. And yes, you do sit down and there is a bit of an angle and it misses out the under thigh support, but it's still not bad because it still supports you in a good way. And it's also, I don't know, I found it more comfortable than the second row of seat for some reason. Now, in terms of the storage, there is a small storage provided out here, as well as there is a cup holder on both the side and a storage bin that can be opened or closed, and then you can put your phones and wallets. And there are also air conditioning vents again for the third row of passengers that are provided on the pillars itself, and some pretty broad and wide windows for the third row of passenger also. But there are no chargers, USB chargers, that are provided. And when you fold down the third row of seats, there are also tying points at the bottom on either side too. So it's very easy to slide these seats. Yeah, you saw them. You just have to put them in place and they automatically go into their position after that. And you can even adjust the seats like this, and then they fold down also. So yeah, there is the ease of use that ways. But yeah, definitely it is a well organized space, so 7 passengers can comfortably travel into the XC90, and plus the benefits of having the plug-in hybrid, which means more range, more fuel efficiency. But does it drive well? Let's find out. So this new XC90 plug-in hybrid Ultra is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with the e-boost, as well as an electric motor that sits in the back, and combined they produce 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque. And this entire combination of the motor and the engine is mated to an 8-speed geartronic transmission, automatic transmission, and there are no paddle shifters or anything that the car just figure out by itself. It does that very well. Now in terms of the individual numbers, so the motors, which is in the rear single motor, that produces 143 horsepower and 228 pound-feet of torque, whereas the engine that produces 312 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, and it powers all the 4 wheels via the all-wheel drive system. Now in terms of the overall performance, it's pretty good for day-to-day use. It's very smooth, especially if you charge the batteries. 18.8 kilowatt hour battery, if you keep them charged, you get 57 kilometers of pure EV range. And once you do that, then the car can easily give you somewhere between 700 to 750 kilometers of range from this. Overall, the engine and the motor work very well to deliver the power, but it's just that when the batteries are charged and it's delivering the power through the motors, then the car first tends to use that, even if you like tell it like it should be using the hybrid power, but it still uses that first. So yeah, maybe hold that if you want to use it within the city. And as it is, if the batteries are depleted, then the car can itself charge also, and there is an option too to charge the batteries and keep it on hold, so you can do that too. But in hybrid mode itself, it does very well to just distribute the power and then utilize the motor and then charge the batteries and then keep plugging that in between. And the best advantage of having that electric motor is at the start, the acceleration is pretty powerful, because it even assists while delivering at higher speeds also, because that turbocharger then kicks in beyond 2500 rpm, and then things become very fast, especially for this mid-size SUV 7-seater. So it's very light on its feet, and it's pretty rapid also, so it will go very quick too. Now in terms of the fuel efficiency, so it depends. If it's on like pure EV, then I've managed to get a combined range of 1.2 liters to 2.4 liters per 100 kilometers when the batteries are charged. But when they are depleted, then if you are going to be driving it in hybrid mode, then in terms of the highway driving, you will return between 6.5 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers, and within the city I've been averaging between 9 to 9.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which is pretty good, to be honest, for a car this big, and that can haul 7 passengers and luggage and also trailer, because in terms of the trailering capacity, it can trailer up to 2250 kilograms. So the tow capacity is also pretty there, like it's not bad. Like it can do almost 2 tons, a little over 2 tons of stuff that you can tow. So yeah, not bad. And in terms of the gear shifts, so there are no paddle shifters or anything, but as it is, the car shifts the gears very well. There's no jerkiness or anything to it, or no undecisiveness. So the car just smoothly transfers into different gears very gently. Now when we come to the suspension, so there are adaptive air suspensions, which is an optional extra provided on this, but let me tell you, you should go for this because it's also capable of auto leveling. And the thing is that whenever I've been going over speed bumps, it tries to keep the car quite leveled, which is a pretty fabulous thing, especially for if you have like family in the back and kids and you want to have like a very smooth ride quality. Definitely this will give you that because it levels out so well, and the calibration done on these suspensions is very good, and it keeps the car pretty leveled, and also the roll also in check, so it gives you that confidence inducing ride quality also, and it absorbs the bumps so well. It soaks up very well, gets ready for the next one. So the real time calculations that it's doing, that's also pretty good. Now when we come to the steering, so there is an electronic steering provided on this, and there is an option to select the light or the firm feel. Now this is on the firm feel, but I still find the steering to be a bit on the lighter side, and lacks a little bit of feedback from this. I mean, yes, it's more for daily driving, and for that it's gonna be all right. And it's just that sometimes I feel a little more, but in terms of the turning radius also, that's also slightly on the larger side. I don't know, maybe to do with the fact that because it's got the motor and the battery, but that's sitting in the front, like sitting in the rear and not in the front. But that's something. But overall, the steering for daily use is going to be pretty good. Now in terms of the ride comfort, now it sits on 21-inch wheels, and as a result of that, slightly ride comfort can be compromised. And not just that, the seats, as I mentioned, they are slightly on the firmer side, but the massage seats, they solve all that problem. Just switch it on. I'm doing that every single time, and it's so powerful. I love it. Now in terms of the brakes, so there are 4-disc brakes on this, and the braking action is pretty good, and because there's a regen capability, so the braking energy can also be utilized to charge the batteries. And it's just that you just put it into the B mode, and then the car can just charge the batteries also while you are driving. So not many things to choose also in terms of that. So there's a simple drive mode, and then the B mode where you can drive it in single pedal. But the braking action is pretty firm and responsive. Now when we come to the noise and the vibration, I've found the car to be very quiet that way, but it's just that the engine, if pressed harder, if pushed, that can become slightly noisy. Otherwise, even in the EV mode, it's very quiet because there are double glazed windows and acoustic glass and all of that has been used. So I'm pretty sure that's why the car remains very quiet, and the build quality seems to be pretty good right now, so nothing is rattling or loose as such. But even the tire noise that is in there, the wind whooshing, that's also very low. So 21-inch wheels, still it's not bad. Now when we come to the safety systems, so there are 10 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 6 airbags given on the pillars, and there is also a driver side knee airbag. So there are 11 airbags. There are 2 child isofix points in the second row of seats. Then there is a pretty good 360-degree camera system. The output from that is very crystal clear, and the ability to select different views. So not too bad in terms of the 360-degree cameras. Crystal clear, even in the dark you can see them very well. Now in terms of the other safety systems, there's ABS, tire pressure monitoring system, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, the rear seat reminder, then the blind spot warning, the Pro Pilot Assist, adaptive cruise control, then the traction control, and there is also the front and the rear collision warning, the pedestrian warnings, and Volvos are, you know, a definition of being the most safest car, and this also is one. Now in terms of the pricing, so the core variant of the XC90 comes in at 95,539 Canadian dollars, whereas the plus variant you need to add another 2,950 Canadian dollars, whereas this ultra variant, as it is without any optional extras, comes in at 95,400 Canadian dollars, whereas with all the optional extras, because there are these adaptive air suspensions, then the Bowers and Wilkins surround sound system, and then there is another pack that's been provided. So all of that, if you add up, then the overall value comes to 104,055 Canadian dollars. Now, if you ask me, I would recommend to go for the adaptive suspensions and also the music system, because both of them are like the right combinations that you need for a luxury SUV. And in terms of this price, yes, it's a big price to pay, but also it justifies the price tag in many sense, because it's genuinely comfortable, it's luxurious, it's so easy to operate. Sometimes I found the infotainment to be a bit laggy, and also if it's like a hot day, it slows down the screen slightly. So some of the occasions where I've had those occasional lags here and there and errors, but otherwise, yes, overall the interior is super functional, simple, easy to use, and the quality of materials is genuinely luxurious. It looks, yeah, pretty elegant from outside with these subtle design changes. Yeah, definitely ups the level of looks, and yeah, it's also now efficient. And in terms of the charging, you don't have to bother that much, because you will find level 2 chargers pretty much everywhere, and even if not that, then the car itself can charge itself and keep it pretty healthy and efficient for daily uses. So as I mentioned, the car is greener, it's also premium, and yeah, it's also spacious at the same time for 7 passengers. So yeah, definitely it's a great contender if you're looking for a mid-size luxury SUV. Now that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking that red subscription button. Leave all the notifications on. Make sure to press the thumbs up button and leave a like on this video. I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye, take care and drive safe.